Welcome to Lesson 5. Today covers chapters 9 and 10 in the online ebook. In chapter 9, we study the use of a specialist. A specialist is a person who has skills or knowledge other than those of accounting or auditing. Examples of specialists in their work are given here. An appraiser, someone who values inventories, real estate, art, jewelry, etc. An engineer or geologist appraises the physical characteristics of assets, for instance, mineral deposits or land. An actuary calculates employee pension liabilities and insurance policy valuations. The need for a specialist is determined in the planning stage of the audit. The auditor next evaluates the specialist's qualifications by considering certifications, licenses, reputation, and experience. The specialist need not be unrelated to the client unless there is a risk that their objectivity might be impaired by the relationship. This risk can be offset by using additional procedures or by engaging a different specialist. Specialist, client, and auditor should understand the nature and use of the specialist's findings. The auditor need not verify the specialist's findings unless they are deemed unreasonable. Otherwise, the specialist's findings are considered evidence in themselves. If the specialist's findings are not in conformity with the financial records, the auditor may issue a qualified or even an adverse report. The auditor should obtain the specialist's permission to use the specialist's report even though he or she is not responsible for the opinion. An unqualified report need not refer to the specialist's work at all. The chapter concludes then with questions to some answers on page 86. Be sure to review those. Chapter 10 explains the auditor's considerations of the entity's ability to continue as a going concern. The auditor is responsible to evaluate whether substantial doubt exists about the client's ability to continue operations for a reasonable period of time up to 1 year from the financial statement date. Auditors are not expected to predict future events and conditions. The mere fact that a client ceases to exist after an audit does not in itself indicate an inadequate auditor. Say that fast 3 times. Inadequate auditor performance. Moreover, an auditor's report should not be viewed as providing assurance that the entity will continue as a going concern. A decision-making flowchart is presented here, page 87, to help identify conditions and events that indicate substantial doubt and how to indicate this on the audit report. It is not necessary to design procedures to test the going concern issue, since a number of existing procedures are sufficient to identify such concerns. The text offers 5 examples of these. Number 1, performing analytical tests may identify ratios and patterns that indicate financial difficulties. For example, current liabilities exceeding current assets, serious concern. Number 2, review of debt and loan agreements will provide insight into possible problems. Number 3, confirmation letters from lenders and suppliers will indicate financial support or lack thereof. Number 4, review of subsequent events near the end of fieldwork may uncover problems. And number 5, inquiries with lawyers and minutes of directors' meetings will show support or reveal existing problems. The text also provides 7 conditions that may indicate substantial doubt exists. Number 1, working capital deficiencies, negative cash flows, or adverse ratios. Number 2, loan defaults. Number 3, non-compliance with capital requirements or denial of trade credit. Number 4, legal proceedings. Number 5, disposal of substantial assets. Number 6, dividends in arrears. And number 7, debt restructuring. If doubts exist, the auditor should review management's plans to mitigate these conditions. These may include borrowing money, increasing equity, selling assets, and reducing or postponing expenditures. When doubt exists, disclosure should include the conditions that give rise to the doubt, possible effects of such conditions, and management's mitigation plans. The audit report should include an explanatory paragraph following the opinion paragraph. If the doubts are beyond substantial, a disclaimer may be issued as well. Inadequate disclosure creates a departure from GAAP that may result in an adverse opinion. If substantial doubt is removed, the auditor should consider the need for disclosure even with the unqualified opinion. Documentation should cover expenditures leading to doubts, elements of plans to overcome doubts, procedures and evidence used to evaluate such plans, and the auditor's conclusion as to whether doubt continues to exist. There are 3 pages of questions and answers, actually just answers, following Chapter 10. Please examine these as well. Look forward to seeing you coming at the end of the semester.